Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a great Friday afternoon, wherever you may be. It's just gone noon here at Fallbrook, California, North San Diego County, and gorgeous day, glorious day out today. Um, Great end to the week. I welcome you. Thank you for joining me, and just wanted to talk today a little bit about loving kindness. It's something that I find is often hard to really capture and retain, really more than anything else. Um, there's a lot of benefits to practicing sort of loving kindness, and to do sort of a meditation around it, which is what I really wanted to focus on today. I don't know what practices you may already have in place for yourself. There's a couple of different sort of meditations that are extremely useful and valuable for practicing loving kindness. One is the Ho'oponopono, which was something that originated in Hawaii, and actually was used in the Hawaiian prison system at one stage, and it really, really dramatically increased the social positivity that many prisoners felt, and their own self-worth increased, and also reduced what they call recidivism, which is the reoccurrence of criminal offenses after the people were released. So that Ho'oponopono is one of the few meditations that I actually practice every day. Every morning when I'm sort of getting ready, I actually say the four things. I may not say them in the proper order, but there are four things that are there, and it is thank you, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you. And I say that to myself. Those four things: thank you, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you. And I'm not sure that that's the right order or whatever, but to be quite frank, I don't think it really matters if you say it in any particular order. It's just one of those things that for me, right, it works, and it really does create some positivity. And actually, on those days when I forget to say that to myself, I actually feel I sometimes feel worse, right? I sometimes don't feel that loving kindness in my life, and I allow sort of doubt and negativity to creep in. Um, and there are multiple benefits to practicing loving kindness and practicing a loving kindness kind of meditation. And there's another one, I've got it written down. I will read it so that I get it right later. But there's another one that I quite often use. I don't use it as much as the Ho'oponopono, but the benefits of doing this, there's a psychologist named Barbara Fredrickson who published work on positive psychology back in the early 2000s, who talks about loving kindness and how it benefits us as individuals, not just those of us who are experiencing grief or trauma, and having that sort of that sort of experience at that moment, right? Practicing loving kindness, particularly for the self, is super important, right? And it's actually one of the hardest things to do. And really, when I really struggled with my own issues last year, when I was really looking to to develop my own self and really examine what it was and who it was that I am, because I had lost that when Suzanne died. I'd lost that ability to sort of have any self-worth or or value, right? I felt lost, useless, valueless, right? Um, and so I was really criticizing myself, right? My inner critic was just on overdrive, right? My ego was just so like fiercely protecting me, and I was self-centered, and I was self-absorbed, and I was totally stuck in my own head. And I actually wrote a little bit about this in my recent blog post on dreams, love, and gratitude. And I've really reduced that level of self-criticism. Okay, I've taken a step back, and I stopped really criticizing myself for just being myself, right? You know, that's one of our harshest critic is our own self, right? And a loving kindness kind of approach and meditation, you know, to will help us reduce that, right? It'll reduce that criticism of ourselves. It'll help us bring more self-worth into our lives, right? Because if we love and we give ourselves kindness, right? So if we love ourselves and we give ourselves true kindness, then it's really hard to be you know, critical of yourself, right? It also kind of helps us change our emotions and live with these more positive emotions and create more positive emotions. And I've talked numerous times about how we as humans can control our breath, we can control our thoughts, and we can control our emotions and feelings, right? If we can be more loving kind, not just to ourselves, but create a more positive loving kindness to the rest of the world and deliver that positive loving kindness to the rest of the world, you know, it creates a ripple effect. It really does. But we have to start with ourself, right? We have to start by giving our true self loving kindness. And particularly when we are grieving or when we're suffering or responding to trauma, and a lot of us do. And you know, oftentimes we have this sort of self-destructive kind of thought process that stems from that experience that we've gone through, and that self-destructiveness, that self-loathing, right, is a direct result of our thought processes that we start to dwell in after we've had the trauma or after we've had the sort of major grief in our lives, right? So losing a spouse, losing a child, anything like that, losing a job, you know, anything like that can start a downward spiral of self-destruction. And it's really, really difficult to maintain loving kindness for the self. I know, I've experienced it, okay? I'm speaking from personal, as well as my own experience as a coach, dealing with other people who've experienced this. So, so doing and practicing sort of a loving kindness meditation like Ho'oponopono, or the one that I'm going to give to you shortly, will help you, you know, kind of manage those sort of self-destructive thoughts and thought processes. You know, physical pain can be reduced. Actually, this is proven that physical pain can be reduced by actually practicing a really healthy, self-loving and global loving kindness meditation. So it's you know, it's got a long-lasting impact on us if you practice these sorts of things, but it gives us this practice in our mind and in our body. We get this sensation of practicing loving kindness. We feel it in our heart, we feel it in our body, and we feel it in our head once we actually get into the habit, right? And it takes at least 21 days to develop a habit of meditating or of giving yourself this sort of amount of self-love. So, you know, I'm not trying to say that it's super easy to do all of this, because it's not. It's taken me a long time and a lot of hard work, and I'm not always successful. As many of you know, I had a really huge bout of grief a couple of weeks ago, and kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. You know, it's easy enough to do. So there is this meditation that I want to read to you, which I think actually does kind of give you, you know, more resilience, and there's other long-term health and mental health benefits that you can gain from it. So so let me just go through it. So this is the self-loving phrases that I want to read. So this is what you would say to yourself, right? And this is, and I'll repeat it more than once so that you can get it. And you may want to repeat after me, just to kind of, you know, silently or out loud if you're alone and you're not in an office or you're at home or whatever. The first, this is self-oriented loving kindness. Okay, and these phrases are: may I be strong. May I have the power to accept and forgive. May I live and die in peace. May I be safe. May I love and appreciate others boundlessly. Okay, I'll repeat that. So this is the self-oriented. This is you telling yourself. May I be strong. May I have the power to accept and forgive. May I live and die in peace. May I be safe. May I love and appreciate others boundlessly. Okay, that's what you want to say to yourself. And you can say that every day, right? It's something that will help. Or if you just prefer the Ho'oponopono, which is, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me. Again, not in that order, but those are the 4 things that you can use. So the loving kindness phrases that I would use for the world, the rest of the world, if I'm going to be loving and kind to the rest of the world, which it starts with me and then it ripples outward. Again, very similar to what I say to myself. It's may you be safe. May you live long. May you achieve what you want and deserve in life. May you have the power to accept your anger and sadness. May you be healthy and happy always. Okay, and obviously those last 2 kind of conflict with each other, but we do accept that sometimes we can't be happy always, right? So again, for all of you out there, this is what I say to you. May you be safe. May you live long. May you achieve what you want and desire in life. May you have the power to accept your anger and sadness. May you be healthy and happy always. Okay? So those are the things that I say first to myself and then to the rest of the world. So by doing this every day, and I've made a habit of it, I have created this habit, I actually feel like I have become a much more resilient person, right? So when I had that huge bout of grief a couple of weeks ago, that was brought on for whatever reason, some trigger or whatever caused it, but the reality is that it took me a few days to kind of bring myself back out of it and become more positive again. And that, just going through that process of heavy grief again, having that huge tsunami of grief, really made me pause and think, I really need to keep giving myself love, right? I need to keep giving myself kindness and give myself the support that I need internally to be strong and to have the power to both accept the fact that I'm grieving and forgive myself for, grieving so hard. There's no reason why I shouldn't be grieving very hard. Living and dying in peace, well, I think that's everybody's desire. I hope that we all live in peace, that all wars stop, that all strife stops, that we as humans we can begin to forgive each other and just accept each other as we are, right? Nobody is infallible. Nobody is perfect. Everybody is perfectly imperfect. That's what makes us all human. I feel safe in myself, right? My true self. And I do love and appreciate everyone. I put out, and here's my one and only shameless plug for the first time in a few weeks. I put out an offer today to give anyone and everyone who's watching a free coaching session, okay? Because my coaching is specifically based on the practices that I have developed, the loving kindness, the grief work that I've done, okay? And I like and I prefer to work with, people who have same outlooks, who need support in their, in their ability to find that self-love. Um, People who are grieving the loss of a spouse or anyone else. Um, People who've experienced trauma, whether it was in childhood or as a result of losing a spouse or child. We all suffer from afflictions that are both internal and sometimes externally brought upon to us. A lot of our trauma comes from attachments to thoughts and emotions, and yes, some of it is resident in our bodies, right? Physical trauma is very, very difficult to overcome, and can be as a result of sexual abuse or physical abuse or even emotional abuse. We can feel it in our bodies. Um, there's all sorts of things that we as individuals, and as human beings, experience on a day-to-day basis. And self-love is one of the hardest things that we can do as individuals. It's very difficult without being narcissistic. Let's put it that way. Let me take a step back. We can really love ourselves, right? And look in the mirror and think, we're beautiful, we're awesome, whatever. But that's surface level, right? I'm talking about deep inside of ourselves, truly loving the true self, right? The boundless, timeless person that you are, right? Being that you are. This energetic soul that resides within us. That same voice that we heard when we were a child that we still hear today, right? That's the true self, okay? And that person, that being, right, that energetic being within us has never changed. It's never gone away. Sometimes because of our egos or because of our traumas or because of our afflictions that we have, we allow our egos to sort of force their way to the front and protect us, okay? The thing about being kind and loving to the self is not dismissing or getting rid of that ego, but bringing it more under control, taming it, okay? Or as my mentor and friend Lola would describe it, healing it, right? Like a dog. Heal, ego. You don't necessarily need to protect me all the time, right? Not every situation is a threat, okay? And if you imagine a dog on a leash, right? Your dog is going to protect you when and if you need that protection, but that dog doesn't have to be super vigilant all the time, right? It doesn't have to be in a constant state of fear that something is going to attack you, right? And that's what the ego can do sometimes, right? So by teaching your ego or getting your ego to heal, right, you are allowing yourself the ability to be more focused on the true self, right? The layer below the ego, that voice that's deep inside you that drives your intuition, that helps you sense that true loving kindness within your body. And and that's why practicing a loving kindness meditation or something like the Ho'oponopono will be beneficial to you, because it allows you to kind of strip away some of those layers, right? So starting with Ho'oponopono is an easy way of doing it, and that's what I actually started with about probably 8-9 months ago. But then I moved on to my loving kindness meditation that I use, and again I'll repeat both of those things for you before I finish, just so that you can hear them again. Is there any practice that anybody out there already uses? Do you do the Ho'oponopono, or do you practice a loving kindness meditation of your own? Do you say a prayer? I mean, that's basically what it really comes down to. We give up these words, this energy, to the rest of the world, to the to the whole of the world and the whole of the universe, as a way of kind of releasing that energy, that positivity out there. No, it doesn't always land, right? We don't necessarily, we have no control over how it lands. But if we're constantly thinking and feeling that sort of loving kindness, if we lead from the heart, as I say numerous, in numerous of these talks, if we lead from the heart, we generally do lead with loving kindness, right? And I'm guilty of not always doing it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I don't think anyone is. But the idea of being, a loving, kind person is not, it's something that we can control, right? We can control our thoughts and emotions, and as long as we get into the practice, into the habit of, repeating these things over and over and over again to ourself, and then for the broader world, we actually start the spark, the ripple effect, or the butterfly effect, as it were, that we can make a difference. Gandhi suggested that we be the change that we want to see in the world. So, in order to do that, and in order to be that change, start with just a basic loving kindness meditation, or statements like Ho'oponopono, which will, as you build the habit, as you build the muscle, as we say, you create a ripple effect, right? So, thank you, I love you, forgive me, I'm sorry, right? And I don't know how many different ways I've said it today, just in this 30 minutes, but the four things that you can say for Ho'oponopono are, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? And that's usually the order that I say it to myself. I am sorry, I forgive you, thank you, I love you, right? And that's what I say to myself, and that also has that ripple effect for the rest of the world. And then I'll come back and I'll repeat this, because I'm coming up towards the end of my my half an hour here that I like to keep these two. The loving kindness meditation that I use for myself is, may I be strong, may I have the power to accept and forgive, may I live and die in peace, may I be safe, may I love and appreciate others boundlessly, right? So I'll repeat that again. May I be strong, may I have the power to accept and forgive, may I live and die in peace, may I be safe, may I love and appreciate others boundlessly. Okay? And those 5 things have a really powerful effect just on the way I feel in my body and the way I think. Okay? And no, like I say, I'm not always perfect about it, and I don't always do it, and some days when I don't do it, I actually feel worse for not doing it. And then finally, the loving kindness meditation, the phrases that I use for others, right? So I will normally sit and do one for myself and then one for the rest of the world, right? And it doesn't take very long. I just do it for maybe 5 minutes, and I sit and I repeat these phrases 2 or 3 times each. And for the rest of you out there, friends old and new, widows, widowers, family, tribe, people that I know and love, people that I don't know but love, right? I do these for you, right? May you be safe. May you live long. May you achieve what you want and deserve in life. May you have the power to accept your anger and sadness. May you be healthy and happy always. Okay. Again, may you be safe. May you live long. May you achieve what you want and deserve in life. May you have the power to accept your anger and sadness. May you be healthy and happy always. Okay, so those are the things that I say to myself, those are the things that I say out loud so that I can expend that energy, so I can give that energy to the world, right? And these are habits that I've developed, like I say, over the last 9 months. And prior to that, I was probably not the most loving, kind person in the world, because my ego was protecting me so heavily and so heartily. So from that perspective, I invite you to try these things and see if it makes a difference to you. I really truly believe that if we do, give ourself love and actually put that that loving energy, that loving kindness meditation out there to the rest of the world, we are doing our part for making this a better place. We are doing what Gandhi said and being the change that we want to see in the world. And I'm not going to blow sunshine. I'm not going to say that it's always easy to do this, okay? And in particular, when we have really strong views or opinions or feelings or emotions around things that are going on in the world around us that we feel helpless to make a difference about. But oftentimes, and I've been guilty of this even recently, oftentimes that's the most important time for us to practice loving kindness, to be emotionally attached to the rest of the planet, to the rest of the world, to these people who are, who are acting out of fear and sometimes anger, right? There's underlying issues that they're dealing with. It could be trauma. It could be any sorts of other things. Sorry, my cat's just knocked something off my desk and it's making noise. So I'm trying to keep her off the camera, but I'm sure she'll probably come and join me at some point. But really, if we behave in a way that is negative or unkind and not from a place of love, that's what we see back. That's what we see reflected back to us. Okay, and from my perspective, and I could be way off base here, but this is how I believe and how I feel. The more that I can practice loving kindness and send that love to you, my friends, family, tribe, widows, widowers, everyone that's watching, anyone that's watching, the more that I put that loving kindness energy out there, and hopefully you will do the same. You will take this talk that I've had today and run with it and do your own practice, whether it's Ho'oponopono or this loving kindness meditation that I've shared with you, and you'll start doing your bit. And then the more that we do it, the more that we create this positive loving kindness vibration, right? And I'm not talking about woo-woo stuff. I'm not talking about this whole, Age of Aquarius stuff. I'm talking about real energy, right? If we expend this energy in positive ways rather than in negativity and dwelling on negativity and dwelling on our own fears and sorrows and guilt and shame, we become our biggest self-critics, and we also start losing our worth, right? And I'll end this by saying the 3 words that actually transformed my life 9-10 months ago, that were the first time that somebody actually uttered those words to me, as far as I could remember, right? I never needed to hear them before. And those 3 words are, you are enough. Exactly as you are, as you show up in your own life and serve yourself and others, you are enough. And from my perspective, the more that we can practice love and kindness and loving kindness to ourselves and to the rest of the world, the much better this world can and will be, right? And that's just the way our energy as human beings works, right? Anyway, I wanted to share all that with you. I thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy your rest of your Friday wherever you may be. or whatever may be left of your Friday. If you're, on the East Coast, it's the afternoon. If you're in England, it's the nighttime. And if you're here in California, it's, certainly in Southern California, it's a gorgeous afternoon, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great weekend, everybody, and please join me again next week. I will continue to do these talks until our shelter-in-place restrictions are lifted here in California, which could be a while. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great weekend. I really appreciate you joining me, and all my love. Thank you.